Thank you for giving the greatest gift that you can give to your children. Parents want to give good gifts to their children. Baptism is the greatest gift that you can give your child, because baptism is the beginning of a relationship with Jesus the Christ. And if your child has a relationship with Christ, he or she has everything. If you have a relationship with Christ, you have the unconditional love that you need. When you fall, you have the mercy and the forgiveness of Christ. When you are discouraged, you have the encouragement of Christ. When you feel weak, you have the strength of Jesus Christ. When you are in pain, you have the comfort of Christ. And ultimately, you have eternal salvation. And so baptism is the greatest gift that you as a parent can give your child. God has a beautiful plan for us. It's not beautiful any longer, but it was in the beginning. He desired to give us three things. He breathed his Spirit into us. When he did that, he gave us, first, perfect relationship with himself. We thought about God all day long. It was when you are in love with someone, you think about them without trying. They are automatically in your mind and in your heart. They come to you all day long. Prayer for us, worship, the scriptures, it was natural for us. The second thing we received was all of the perfections of God. When God breathed his Spirit into us, he breathed all of his perfections. God's patience was my patience. His purity was my purity. His humility was my humility. And I was expressing all of those perfections to you. You were expressing them to me. What that meant is that all of our human relationships were perfect. Love God, love your neighbor. This is why Jesus said there is no divorce. All of our marriages were perfect. And then the third thing that God gave us when he breathed his Spirit was the ability to connect everything that we did here on earth with himself. And so all of our art was beautiful. It was pleasing to God, and it elevated the human spirit. All of our music, art, science, I'm just thinking about everything that we do here on earth. Family life, sexuality, sport, education, government, everything was connected to God. When sin came into the world, it shattered that. Now, the three things that God gave us, perfect relationship with himself, now prayer is not natural for you and I. We wake up in the morning and we don't think about God. I'm just thinking about me. And as I'm showering, I'm thinking about myself and everything I'm going to do today. God does not impact my life. Prayer and worship is not natural. It's not something I want to do. Now, sadly, you and I worship a false trinity, me, myself, and I. Secondly, we lost the perfections of God. So now, rather than sharing with you my patience, the patience of God, I'm sharing with you my impatience. Rather than the purity, the impurity. Rather than the humility of God, the pride. And so now all of our human relationships struggle. This is why divorce is in the world now. And then lastly, we no longer connect what we do here on earth with God. And so our music, we no longer do music to glorify God. And so now there is music that does glorify God, and there is other music that you would actually call profane. Now we stop with what is here on earth. When Jesus Christ came to earth, he didn't just come to die and then leave us the way we were. He came to reestablish his Father's plan. Love God, love your neighbor, and do all things on earth for him, for his glory. God doesn't have plan B. He only has that plan, plan A. How does Jesus breathe into us once again his Holy Spirit, this new life? Through the church. The church is simply an instrument. Just like a fisherman. What a fisherman wants is the pearl. But he needs the shell to get the pearl, because the pearl is in the shell. And so if you say, do you want the shell? He says, no, I want the pearl. But I need the shell. Give me the shell to get to the pearl. What we really want is relationship with Jesus Christ. The church is the shell. The church is the way we get to Christ. And baptism is the doorway to this new relationship with Jesus Christ. The rest of the church is, everything we do in the church is the instrument that brings us into that relationship and sustains us through it. And so again, thank you for baptizing your children, your child. I will keep you in my prayers, and please pray for me.